first question is that you did your bachelor's from VTU, Vishweshwaraya, in civil engineering. So, did you have any inclination towards the field before you chose it? And were there any topics that you were aware of which you wanted to pursue before you joined your bachelor's degree?
During my bachelor's study, I didn't have any idea that I will be doing research. But one thing was sure that I was inspired by one of the faculty, uh, Prabhakar, D.L. Prabhakar. So he was a professor and HOD at that time in Malnad College of Engineering. So he taught me my favorite. I mean, those subjects became my favorite because he taught very well. So there is structural analysis, strength of materials, and matrix method of structure analysis. So the way he taught it induced a lot of interest about the subject, and I also excelled in those subjects by scoring out of out. So those kind of interest was there, but at that time I really didn't know that I have to do research.
Okay, sir. That's great. Sir, did you do any project under the professor?
I didn't do project under that professor. So at that time, like I came from a very simple background, and then that was a local engineering college. A group project has to be done. Only one group project has to be done as a part of the program, BE Civil Engineering program. And that too, I did it on some kind of solid waste management related, field related project. Of course, I didn't pursue further in that direction. As a part of requirement, I completed the project.
Sir, you mentioned few subjects, right? Like structural engineering. Were there
Yes.
any other subjects which motivated you?
Other subjects, for me, I felt this structure analysis, the way structures behave, the way structures reform, the way he explained, and then so those are the subjects which enticed me the most. Other subjects, I was good at studies, so okay kind of things. And in addition to that, I participated in one of the competition called earthquake resistant design. That was a state level competition. At that level, it was just the internet was just starting at that time. We didn't have much access to internet, so it was not out of the internet information, but whatever I had studied and whatever I had understood by the professor's teachings, I used those techniques to put some earthquake resistant design into that competition, where I had to tell about earthquake resistant design and also give some drawings, and that won me first prize at state level competition. So maybe that was also one of the background where finally in future I chose earthquake engineering as my research.
That's awesome, sir. Also, after your bachelor's, right, you immediately went for master's. Do you think about going or trying for a job, or did you do any cost benefit analysis during that time?
I was a very simple background guy. I didn't went into so much of cost benefit analysis and all. To be frank, I didn't even know that there is IIT kind of universities are there for higher education, and then if you do there, it's a very good kind of things. One of my seniors was taking a GATE examination. He asked me what examination you are. I asked him during lunch hours. He said, I'm taking this GATE exams. Then first time I asked, what GATE exam kya hota hai? So then he explained, this is a very good exam for higher studies. I took the exam, and that was in my 4th year. So after 4th year, first semester, there was some time in the month of December. So 15 days was there. I didn't go for any coaching. So I took the syllabus of the GATE and I studied myself, sitting at my village hometown. After that, I gave the exam. I forgot about it. Once the results came, my friend called me and said that you have got 126th ranking in All India. I couldn't believe. Then I went to computer center and then I checked my. So then I was confirmed that yeah, I got 126th ranking. So then my professor, Dale Prabhakar sir, who was my inspiration, he came to know. And he called me to his chamber and then he asked, why don't you apply for IITs? I said, I don't know what is IIT, what is. Then he explained me about IITs. He only took the printout of application forms and sent it to various places. I was also placed in MFAR construction company. Uh, I was about to go to that company, but because I got this opportunity, then I decided to let me do some higher studies because at any cost I wanted to do higher studies in structural engineering in civil, but I ended up doing in aerospace structure.
That's great, sir.
So, so basically, the structure, your desire to do structural engineering in civil, it led you to do structural engineering for aerospace. So, any particular reason for that?
In aerospace, okay. I had applied for applications. I went to IIT Bombay for master's study interview. It was not successful. Then I went to IIT Kanpur. There was also not successful. And then IIT Roorkee was there, and then IIT Kharagpur was there. But my final year exams were there during that time. So I will not be able to go and attend. But only in Kharagpur there was a counseling system at that time. So my professor told one of my student is doing PhD there. You give a consent on behalf of you, he will attend. And over a phone, I was there in touch with him, and I was hoping I will get the structural engineering in IIT Kharagpur for master's study. But before just before the rank person took the last seat of structural engineering, and he told that other master studies are there like transportation or geotech. I said no, I'm not interested in those subjects. Then he said aerospace is there, that is also closer to structure. Would you like to take? As soon as I heard, yeah, it is related to structures. Yes, take it. I took those, and then that's how I ended up in aerospace structures. But I don't regret taking aerospace structures because actually, when I went there and then studied aerospace engineering in IIT Kharagpur, there are a lot of components which were related to structures. I enjoyed studying there, and then my life took a U-turn or 100% turn once I went to IIT Kharagpur.
You had to face many different things until like you reached that thing which you really wanted to do. So yes, maybe you did not get what you desired, but something close to what you desired, and that ended up helping you only. So that's what, and is a very good thing for all of us also to learn. Sir, like in between your doctorate and masters, now after masters, you had like few stints in the industry like GE and TCS. So, like, was this change motivated by some specific reason? Or
Yeah, so I didn't really had any thought that I will do PhD after I completed my masters. And as a part of my master's course, there was some programming to be done. So I liked that programming thing basically, especially we use MATLAB for various structural analysis tools to develop structural analysis tools as a part of the program in aerospace engineering. And during placement, TCS had come, and even I had an opportunity to go to DRDO as an internship or for a company. So I thought I didn't know much taste of research at that time. So I thought, maybe let me go to a company and then let me earn some good lump sum amount of money. So like that I thought. So I got into TCS from master's study, and then I went to Thiruvananthapuram, and then 2 months training was there, and then I was posted in Mumbai, 1 year I worked in TCS, but I realized there's something different. I didn't like the corporate culture that you go and work, and then appraisal system, and then you have to just work, routine work you need to do. Like I was given kind of software testing thing, using Siebel software for banking customer relationship management system. I was doing that routine job of testing and then finding the bugs and then reporting. That's it. I didn't like that job. So then I decided, let me see, what alternative I can do. I quit that job and then I joined in Pune, one of the engineering college, aerospace engineering college, as a teacher there. And that was my turning point, I can say, because once I started teaching, I really started liking from my bottom of my heart. I felt satisfied that when I share the knowledge with others. Most importantly, what actually touched me is when I used to prepare for going and teaching the subject. Like I taught engineering, drawing, and structural analysis subjects, strength of mechanics, this kind of structures which I was actually good at. I was good at engineering drawing as well, because spatial, three-dimensional drawing and all I was good at. And structure analysis. When I was teaching, when I was studying, when I was preparing myself to teach, I found that my depth of understanding is increasing 10 times than I used to prepare for giving exams. Because I need to now think, okay, what are the questions they may ask? So I need to prepare 10 times more than I give the exam. So my knowledge started growing, with the teaching. I loved that. I liked it. So then I decided, this is my profession. That's where I decided, not during BTech, not during MTech. After working for 1.5 years, I discovered my passion that I love teaching. Now, in order to continue and being relevant in teaching, I need to do PhD. For that purpose, I went to do PhD. But while doing PhD, I love doing research.
Yes, sir. You mentioned that to teach, right, you went for a PhD. So, which all people did you consult before doing the PhD, and then what factors did you take into account?
Yeah, so I had learned by that time that mentor is very important for doing PhD, and I had applied back to IIT Kharagpur and also some other places, but IIT Bombay as well as Kanpur I had applied. But I got a seat in IIT Kharagpur both in civil engineering as well as aerospace engineering. With my strong interest to do PhD in structural related subjects or area. I had not specifically decided which specific topic I will be doing the research, but I was very clear that I want to do in structural related. That was clear, but not a specific topic was not decided. And then when I inquired, I was able to join civil engineering, but I came to know that I would be given a guide, a specific guide, which I don't want to mention the name now, which I came to know had some history of students not being satisfied by doing PhD and or being dragged, or some of the students quitting after some time. These kind of things were there. So then I thought, okay, let me join under the aerospace department, so which I knew was also my PhD master's guide in master's thesis guide. So I had a good interaction. I knew him well, and then so I joined under him. But still, I pursued on structural health monitoring. And while one of the co-guide was from civil engineering department, Professor Damodar Meeti, and from aerospace department, Professor Deepak Kumar Meeti. These two were my guides, and they were working on structural health monitoring at that time. Because I wanted to Of course, my guide was also working on composite structures and other things, Professor Deepak Kumar Meiti. But because I had specifically mentioned I want to work on structures related to civil, then he pitched in another co-guide from civil engineering department, and then we picked up a problem on structural health monitoring, which is applicable to both aerospace and as well as civil engineering. Yeah, so at this point, definitely I would say that guide is very important. Imagine dealing with one guide, I have to deal with two guides. But the good part was both of them were very good friends, and they had no much difference in opinion in terms of conflicts. It went smooth, well, not much hardship, and they gave me a lot of freedom of choice to choose my research detailed topic. Though they encouraged me to work on structural health monitoring. In structural health monitoring, what topic I would be working, that is what I chose, which I am proud of them as well as me till today, because the specific technique, which technique will work for this problem, what we are looking out of many techniques. After literature study, I was the one who actually proposed that to my guides, and then they said, "Okay, go ahead."
That's nice, sir. Sir, also during your time as PhD student, right? How
Yeah,
did your perspective on civil engineering change?
yeah. So once I was working on working in software engineering, though I had a good grip on coding, but the routine work I didn't like. But when I came back to again structures and then PhD and then civil engineering, I really started enjoying my good old days of analyzing structures and then the structural subjects what I have studied. Now in depth I'm studying and then applying and I'm teaching to the students. So I started enjoying that. And in terms of scope, there's always a scope for civil engineering in terms of both uh, practical application as well as research, because the infrastructure is one thing which we are living, and we cannot just simply go and live in forest. And as it is ever needed, field, and as any other field that undergoes a change, the civil engineering also undergoes a change. So now, what conventional constructional materials what we see, that is cement with concrete, using aggregates and then sand. Uh, in future, you will see that there will be a drastic change in the construction material being used, because a lot of discussions and research is happening in terms of alternative construction materials which are eco-friendly, which are less carbon footprint producing materials, and more sustainable green building concept. These kind of things are coming up. So there is you will see going forward, changing the construction materials happening. And as long as the materials change, those materials how they withstand, to study how they withstand, the structural engineering is very important. It is the backbone of civil engineering. And going forward further, making it automated construction with the help of AI is one thing which is huge scope is there for civil engineering, because other fields it's much easier to apply this automation. But almost you can say, if you see a graph, other fields, more than 50% of automation is being either being done or research being done. But civil engineering, there's a gap between automation and then the manual way of functioning. The gap is very huge. So the automation can actually bring that gap to reduction. So there is a huge scope for both in terms of research and translating that research to a field and kind of possible startups and all. There's a huge scope. But only thing what is required is perseverance and dedicated effort for at least few years. Then a person will be able to reap the benefit.
So also, can you give us a small gist on what field are you in currently and what projects are you doing or what
Okay.
research are you carrying out?
Yeah. Coming to research front, as I mentioned during my PhD, I worked on structural health monitoring. That was also is a very interesting topic, where my PhD topic was if a structure has undergone damage and we are not able to physically see it. For example, most of the buildings nowadays will come with a false ceiling, and inside, if any joint is or beam is failed or something is failed, we will not be able to observe. Similarly, aircraft structures completely it is covered over from inside and outside, and then there are various skeleton structural elements which are carrying that entire force. If there is any crack or damage there, we will not be able to physically investigate. So my PhD topic was how to identify the damage location and how much damage is there without physically going and inspecting it, using something called as physics, laws of physics, that is dynamics of structures or vibration. So I used accelerometer sensors to the structures. I collected that accelerometer response, and then I processed that response using optimization algorithm and finite element models, and I backtracked exactly at which element or which member has been damaged, and then approximately how much percentage it has been damaged. So that was an interesting thing about that PhD. So I proposed frequency response function based method for that, and it was successful. But I was not satisfied with that because I felt okay, already the structure has damaged. After that, I need to just find out what the damage is. But instead of that, before damaging, if I can protect, that is even more valuable. So while this thought process was going on with me, after my PhD, I was working in NIT Sikkim, and I used to travel every week to various places. As a part of that, I had visited Nepal also. Just after 2 days, I visited back from Nepal. There was an earthquake hit Nepal.
Okay.
Around 9,000 plus people died with that earthquake. And when I saw the photograph, the same places I had visited, the same structures I had seen, they had all collapsed and people had crushed and died because of the structures being collapsed, buildings being collapsed. So something I felt that I should do. Anyway, I have a good background on structural design, vibration, dynamics. I have to do something to protect these structures when the earthquake comes. So by that time, I had got the opportunity to be a professor at BITS Pilani Hyderabad Campus. So I came back here, and then I shifted my research. I did not continue or pursue further with structural health monitoring, though I did not leave it. Actively, I did not pursue, but I started working in structural vibration control during earthquakes. So it took 1 or 2 years. I could not do much publications because I knew new research area I picked up. But still, it was okay. I gradually started, going deeper into that subject. I also engaged one of research student as well as master students in that direction with projects and other things. And then I started getting fewer ideas for research in that direction. The first thing which struck me is, when the earthquake hits the building, the entire vibration gets transferred to the building when the earth shakes. If you can isolate the building itself, and if I can reduce the vibration going into the building, I can reduce the structural demand or the forces being transferred to the building. In that way, the demand will be less, so structures need not to be so much, strongly built. So for that, one of the best technique is base isolation technique, or isolators being provided between superstructure and foundation. So I started working in that direction. So then I figured out that the existing this technique is not new. It has been already established. But why people are not adapting? This question came to me. Then I further digged in. Then I understood it's because it is costly, very heavy, and one unit which we need to put under one column in a building at that time would cost around 10 lakh. And imagine there are 100 columns, 100 into 10 lakh. Only the isolator will cost that much. So then I thought, let me reduce the cost of that. So then I started working in that direction. From 2015, I joined here in BITS. It is 2025. So it's been 10 years of research in that direction. And by now I have 2 patents filed in that direction. And this is one of the patented product. I think there is this is one of the patented product. It's a lab scale level. Bigger scale will be bigger size of that. So where the cost of this one unit will be less than 50,000 or so, instead of 10, not this size, bigger size I'm talking about, which can go under the building. So that size would be, this would be hardly 2,500 or 1,500, it will be less than that. But the bigger unit will be around 50,000. So I bought that cost of that from around 10 lakh down to maybe others who have proposed this kind of things. It would have been a 5-6 lakhs. So now it has come down to say 50,000 or something like that. But it's not the end; it's just the beginning. But this has to undergo further lot of extensive tests and critical evaluation in terms of weathering and durability and all those things. So I'm working in that direction. Recently, I have written a proposal for doing study in that direction for durability studies. Then I can we can confidently say that it can work and it can go into the market.
Sir, now like little bit for the students who are willing to pursue civil engineering. So, like, what are some important skills students need today to excel in civil engineering field? And maybe you could mention some books, courses, software, hardware tools that should be learned by students so that they can excel in civil engineering field.
Yeah. So in terms of those who are interested in towards research.
Yes, sir.
Research.
Yeah. So if I keep the research in the mind and then advise students, I advise first fundamental thing is understand the basic concepts, be very fundamentally strong. Whatever subject you are studying, ask question: why, how, and why. How and why it is happening. Instead of just focusing on getting the things done, focus on why it is being done, how it is being done. If you understand the concept built, then you can do anything, any research. Research is not a big thing. What is most important is concepts should be strong, and then it's not that research is just you do some manipulations and then get the result. It's about choosing the right problem to solve, which is essential and required for the society and for commercialization or society, whatever it is. So choosing the right problem is more important. So now for those that things, some of the things one should be knowing is apart from studying these concepts, if we can also study some of the tools, it will also be helpful. Like there are softwares like STAD, ETABS, or finite element softwares like Abacus or ANSYS. And most importantly, if they can exercise this one thing, that those are only the tools. But those tools, what they do is like a black box. So you give some input, they will give some output. You don't know what is happening inside. But instead of that, whatever you study, you make it automated, by your own programming. You can use Python programming or MATLAB. And there is one very important software which is an open source software in civil engineering structural analysis. So that is OpenSeas. It uses a Python platform or Tickle platform. So if one can start using that for solving civil engineering problems through OpenSeas, what it does is, everything gets automated and programmed, and that can be applied at company level for verification or at research level. One of my student who did masters here is doing PhD in. He just completed PhD in University of Canterbury, New Zealand, and he extensively used that OpenSeas software for his PhD. It saves a lot of time, especially where you need to do a lot of simulations and parametric studies, like thousands of case studies you need to do by varying various parameters. You just need to write a code, and then automatically it will do. Same thing I had done in my masters also, where ANSYS I need to do kind of thousands of cases. One of the case I developed and then I made it perfectly. It is working. I make sure that it is working perfectly. Then I created an Excel sheet and then I draw a small interface program where it will one by one it will take and then it will do the analysis for all the 1,000 cases and it give me the result in a required way I want. So this is what is very much needed going forward in the civil engineering field, where lot of time can be saved, which people will take a lot of time for doing manually. And to do this, strong fundamental is required, because while you are programming, if something goes wrong, wrong input, wrong output will go. Wrong coding, wrong things will go. So properly verified programming is required at every stage. Validated programming is required. For that, fundamental is very much important. So I advise them to study basic fundamentals strong and pick up this programming side, so that everything you can automate it, they can save a time. And there's a huge scope both in terms of research as well as application, because people are looking forward for students who are good at this kind of programming and automation, with building the information modeling, BIM, and digital twin technology, and yeah. So you sitting here, you will know what is happening in the structure. So those kind of, that is what is called digital twin. Recently, I started research. Again, I picked up my research on structural health monitoring using digital twin and artificial intelligence in collaboration with RMIT University. One PhD student is working on it. So there is a huge scope in terms of structural health monitoring. Any field you choose in civil engineering, materials, or 3D printing, 3D printed buildings. There is a huge gap in 3D printed buildings, what they are coming now, and where it can go further, because they can only take the gravity loads. They cannot take the wind loads or earthquake loads now. So a lot of research is spending in that direction, and then further, because I am from structures background, I am only talking about structural engineering. But for those students who are interested in other fields of civil engineering, like environmental engineering or water resources or transportation, so there are various interesting research problems. I encourage students to approach respective faculties and interact with them to gain more insight into that. With the interest of time, though I can also give some insights on those, but I would not touch upon those other fields.
Got it, sir. So, sir, with respect to for students to stay updated with the current trends and breakthroughs in civil engineering, so would you recommend some journals or newspapers or some resources which students should be reading if they want to gain knowledge about trending things in civil engineering?
Yeah. So to know about trending things in civil engineering, they can always approach uh, various standard journals which are publishing cutting edge research. In my field, there are various journals like structures. Those are the publications from I'm referring to very standard publications, not the low class publications like Springer Nature or Cooper's index journals, Wiley publications. Some of the journals in structural engineering are Structures itself. One of the name of the journal is Structures, or Structural Engineering is another name of the journal. Bulletin of Earthquake Engineering, Structural Dynamics and Geotechnical Earthquake Engineering, Bulletin of Earthquake Engineering, then American Society of Civil Engineering, some of the publications from that. So those publications which are Scoopers indexed and very valid, so those has to be very carefully chosen. Otherwise, there are very much predated journals, IIA, JET, or these kind of things, which publish not novel, repetitive works and other things that will misguide the students. Yeah, apart from that, they can also be a part of some of the forums in India, like SEBI, not SEBI, sorry, Structural Engineering Group in India, then Earthquake Engineering Group. There is so there are various forums. They can be part of that, which will give newer and newer informations. And in addition to that, best thing is they meet the faculties who are accessible and then explore and ask those faculty in particular, and then find their interest and then explore them, put them in faculty who is working in that field, and then interact and get them more detailed information.
Sir, what is your take on interdisciplinary research, like between civil and electronics, or civil and electrical, or maybe civil and computer science? Are
Yeah,
you either, are there
yeah,
any projects, or are it going on any right now?
yeah. So there are few projects interdisciplinary. Some of the computer science students will be working. They have taken projects under me where use of AI and ML tools for structural applications. I will guide these students. Similarly, there are one student who worked on development of sensors for structural health monitoring, accelerometer sensors, wireless sensors for my applications. Um, Going forward, interdisciplinary research is the key for bringing something more innovative and more trust, more useful products or whatever it is in the research field. The interdisciplinary is must. Earlier, I used to work myself with not much collaboration, but realizing that interdisciplinary collaboration is required, I started collaborating with the various fields. So another research where I'm doing is with materials faculties. I collaborated because materials knowledge requires a lot of chemical reactions or molecular interactions and all those things. I'm not good at that. I'm good at structural engineering. So my target is to develop lightweight materials for seismic applications, where interdisciplinary is very must. Similarly, the structural health monitoring with automated monitoring sensors are necessary. So interaction or collaboration with EEE electronics department is very much necessary. Not only that, for biomedical applications, lot of structural things, because our body itself is a structure. Now a lot of transplants and other things are required. How do they function? How do they take the load? How do they behave inside the body? And long-term durability, all those things has to be studied. So that requires interdisciplinary approach. There are n number of interdisciplinary opportunities. So I encourage students to look into that, dig into that, and take the advantage of that to make their career successful.
So, sir, like as a teacher, you are exposed to many students day in and day out. So, have you noticed a change over the years about students willing to get involved in research, and like not only in BITS? I mean, when you are yourself in IIT Kharagpur, and now you compare, now you are in BITS. Even if you see then and now, and also over the years you have spent in BITS. So, is there a change in the mindset of students that they are willing to pursue research more or less, or if you could give your view on that?
Yeah, so definitely there is a change. Earlier, many, as I have seen, would have been interested in research. Of course, it's a personal choice, but as I have seen, the students tend to get influenced by surrounding without knowing what they want to do. If they are really interested in research, they should be doing research instead of not getting influenced. For example, in my case, I didn't know that I have to do research until I completed my masters and then I was working. So like that, it may take some time for students to realize what they want. Of course, it's not like my time. Nowadays, the students are much informed, well informed. Well, a lot of information is available. They can make a more informed choice than uninformed choice. Uh, I would always, recommend students if they are clear that they want to do PhD. I would insist they start uh, their career exploring what they are interested in and do some small projects related in that directions, and then do master studies required or directly go for PhD if it clicks. Uh, that is my advice. But nonetheless, what trend I have seen is in BITS, I have seen not much many students are interested in research. At least in my field, earlier when I joined, many students used to take thesis, at least from masters and BTech. In masters, at least now, hardly few students take any thesis related or research related projects. Most of them will be interested in PS because PS is one of the attraction in BITS with placements, and also most of the students come with intention that I will be getting into the placement and then PS like that. So there is a that decline in research thing as. And there can be some other reasons for that as well. That is the disparity in the pay package for the research as well as the company payment. I don't blame them for that. But at the same time, if one is interested in research, see, what is most important is you choose your profession which you love to do, not because of money or something else. See, if money is your love, then you can go in that direction. But if you are not satisfied with that, you find out what you love to do. If you love to do research, there is no point in you going behind the money and then getting into the company and then working there without interest, without liking the job, because that's if you start doing the job which you don't like, that is like hell. So I don't emphasize you have to do research only or job only or whatever it is. But first identify what you are passionate at, what you love to do it. If it is research, it is excellent. Don't worry about the money. You focus on doing research, because ultimately towards the end of life you will have your success if you have one pointed attention and then do the research also. Success will come. If you those people have, as I have seen, who have achieved their success is those people who have pursued their passion, who love to do what they do or what they are doing, they love it. So whether it be your company or whether it is research or anything else, success will automatically come if you in that direction, and you will also enjoy the journey. It's not about the end goal; it is also about the journey. Every moment being enjoyed, enjoying the moment, and then being happy doing what you're doing is most important than the end goal. So that's what is my advice.
Thanks for the inspiring answers. So now talking about our college, right? How diversified are the research opportunities in civil engineering department in BITS Hyderabad? And what opportunities are there for undergrad students currently who want to pursue research?
Yeah, so in civil engineering, there's a diverse field of faculties are available in our department with very specialized. Every faculty is unique in their own individual specialization, starting from water resources, application of AI to water resources, GIS. We have Professor Rajita, and then environmental engineering, Professor Anmala Jagadish. Water resources, we have Professor Srinivasa Raju, and then Vasan. They work on catchment area, the rainwater catchment, and then water treatment, and then the municipal water planning. So going forward, water is that because the water is becoming more and more costlier than, especially the pure drinking water. So there's a scope in that direction, and then solid waste is another thing where people generate a lot of waste. So in civil engineering, we have some faculties who work in that direction, like for example, Professor Murari and others. How to use now the technology to reduce that the pollution which is happening to the environment, and then use the technology as well as the basic engineering concepts to effectively manage this waste. We have in that direction, and also we have in the direction of transportation engineering, because now future is about transportation. How fast and safely you can transport from one place to another place, not only the people but also the goods, right? So we have few faculties who are working in that direction about urban transport, but freight transport, and then the critical path analysis, or what is the best mode, economic mode, less more environmental friendly mode of transport, and going forward bullet train and other things are coming up. And then also in air travel or rail travel, or so there's a huge scope in that direction. Though in air travel, many people, faculties are not there in civil department, but mechanical there are few faculties. Uh, we can collaborate with them and then do that kind of work. And in addition to that, there is a highway engineering where the roads which are being built, how long they last, how can I increase the efficiency. There's a huge scope for, especially in BITS Hyderabad, because recently we got worth 10 crore equipments from Shell. Advanced highway engineering laboratory is being set up, where Professor Sridhar Raju and Professor Akshay Gunda and then Vinayak Ram, they are working in that area. There's a huge scope for making it very efficient. For example, Professor Sridhar Raju is one of the well-known personality. He has been recognized. He worked in CRRI, he worked in Shell for 17 years. He carries a lot of expertise, practical expertise with him. And then he is working on reducing the bitumen layer or tar road, what we see, with reducing the thickness, and which can last long with the addition of bitumen and then bitumen modified binders and other things. And also, there are around the world there are research goes on in that direction where this flexible pavement, when they undergo deformation, how to make that deformation as an energy generation. You might have seen in some of the news where people walk on the roads and then that gets deformed and then that will generate the electricity. So something called as you integrate with piezoelectric sensors where they will generate the electricity because of deformations. So these kind of directions are there. And then when it comes to materials, we have many faculties like Akka Mitrakar, even Vinayak Ram sir and Professor Bahuruddin. who are working on various materials like alternative materials, bagasse ash, or cementless materials. These kind of new materials are being explored. One can because materials is the basic thing. Everything starts. The basic research starts for application. It can be any field, any engineering application. The material is has got a very beauty in it, and it is also very easy to publish the publications in materials. That is the fact. Now, after developing at material stage, it has to be taken to the next level, that is structural level. How it behaves under various loading conditions, under dynamic loading, under earthquake loading, under wind loading, under repeated loading, vehicle loading. How it behaves, whether it be suitable or not. There comes the structural engineering into the picture. So, including me, and we have various other faculties like Professor Chandu. Yeah, he was to some extent Vasan sir also works. So, where application of the materials to structures can be studied, or the field what I have already mentioned about my research. So, there is a huge variety, especially in civil engineering, we have various variety. I mentioned about various fields, right? So one can choose depending on his interest. I know some of the students who did their projects in structural engineering, but later on they pursued their masters or a PhD in abroad, in environmental engineering or like that. So that is one good thing in BITS, that there is a huge scope for flexibility. So they can explore through some projects. If it likes, they can proceed. If they don't like, they can explore other things and then they proceed. So they can explore these kind of things in BITS. That is one advantage, which was not there for us during our time. So this is one of the strong plus point for students in BITS.
So, sir, what is your take on PS with respect to civil engineering?
Okay, PS1, as you know, it can, depending on the CGPA and other things, it can get allotted to any company. If they are interested in civil engineering and they give their preference towards civil engineering, if they get civil engineering, it's well and good. But when it comes to PS2, it's a good opportunity in terms of practice school too, provided if they get a civil engineering related company. But what I have observed in civil engineering is not many students are specifically interested in civil engineering. This is one thing which is a bitter fact which I have to tell. But it's unfortunate that the students come to BITS, not especially for civil engineering, not many of them by choice, but because they want to study in BITS, and then that's how they can get into, and they majorly pursue their analytics or finance or programming, and then they get into those kind of companies. Very few students who have interest in civil engineering, and if they get core engineering PS2, so that would be a very good opportunity. If they are fixed in their mind that I don't want to do research and then I just want to go into the company, better I advise them to get into the company and then do their PS and then grab the chance of PPO and then go in that direction. But if they have any tinge of scope for doing research, then I advise they plan their things accordingly, and then do some projects initially with the faculties here and explore, and then apply for either if there is a match of what they wanted to do, and then the faculty area is matching, and then they can pursue the thesis here. Also, I have seen some of the students who have planned very well in advance, and then they have applied for off-campus thesis in abroad universities, and they did their master thesis in collaboration with faculty from here as well as from there, as a supervisor and co-supervisor, and then they do their thesis there, and then again do their PhD and other things, and come back and settle in some ILTs. This kind of things also I have seen. Or And also, I would also mention one of my students' case where he did his masters from New Zealand. I said, no, University of Canterbury. It's not that there is only scope for becoming a professor after doing thesis. It's not like that. The trend is changing now. The big companies are looking forward for specialized, expertised candidates who have PhDs or research trend for their R&D sectors or application sectors. So this student of mine, Shishla Sai Teja, so he got placed in one of the company in New Zealand itself after doing his PhD. So there is also trend is changing where PhD candidates are taken for companies with their skill sets and other things, either in research and R&D sectors or in various application fields with lot of lump sum salary, attractive salary. Not even computer science guy will get that much in India. That kind of salary package is getting now. So yes, there is a scope for doing research.
Sir, moving ahead, the current civil engineering curriculum in BITS, do you feel that there are some topics that should be added, or there are some topics which are not necessarily not necessary, and maybe do you want that there should be some change in the current civil engineering curriculum which is being practiced at BITS Pilani, Hyderabad?
Yeah, definitely. Change is the nature of this world. So without change, nothing will sustain. So change has to be there. Change should be there. And then we are working in that direction to change the curriculum as well by including the latest trends, also some of the outdated things. We have already done that earlier also. So again, we are taking up that task to revise the syllabus. We have done for Masters Transportation Engineering, and we have done that exercise for Structural Engineering, and then that is in the final stage. And similarly for undergraduate divisions, huge task is being taken up to revise the syllabus. So some of the things like automations or use of AI and ML things, structural health monitoring related topics, and more hands-on with practical experiences. This kind of things is what I anticipate to be changed.
Right.
Sir, are there any specific courses you would suggest students to take? Any specific electives or courses?
That specific elective or courses suggestions would be one-to-one depending on what the student would like to pursue. Just because I am in structural engineering is not fair for me to suggest only structural engineering subjects. So if any students, you can ask them to approach me. Depending on what they want to pursue, I will suggest what electives they can be taken.
So moving to the last part of the sir, any soft skills and things which are you see that in your in your course of academia, and because we have seen that you present in a lot of conferences and network with people. So any soft skills which have helped you in your journey, and those students should also take it as important things to learn in their life.
Yeah, in terms of the presentation skill is one thing which has actually helped me in my journey, which I was not good at after completing BTech, but after going to Kharagpur, I learned, especially my master's journey in Kharagpur gave me a lot of soft skills in terms of the how to make the presentation slides and how to present it, which I learned in Kharagpur has come in handy for me throughout my career. Very keen attention to just it's not that you make the presentation just for the sake of presentation. or the sake of presenting some of the results or whatever, what you want to present. It's about the thought process. Okay, how you prepare each and every slide depends on what you want to convey to them. It's not about simply displaying the content over there. Keeping as minimum presentation as possible, which you want them to focus on, draw their attention to. So keeping minimal things in a very effective way. So I spend a lot of time in making the presentation. First I think what I want to present, what are the content I want to present. Then I think how I want to present. Accordingly, I'll keep putting the minimal animations also I will keep, but that animation will be like, okay, I don't want the audience attention to other things which I don't want while I'm speaking this. This kind of thought process I'll give and then I make the presentation. So when I make this kind of presentation with the thought process, actually when I present it goes very, very smoothly. Like, and then audience also can connect to that, and then it would be very successful in terms of what I wanted to convey, what the audience understood. So that is one thing I learned that in my Kharagpur that has become very helpful in my journey. The art of making presentation as well as presenting it. The second thing is obviously communication is also another thing. Again, communication I was also not good at, but being with right-minded people, those who are good at communication at Kharagpur gave me that opportunity to communicate things effectively. And what I learned, what goes behind communicating things effectively is how well you know the subject. If you know the subject, automatically the things can also be communicated. If you don't know the subject, however, you are good at communication externally. So both will go in hand in hand. External communication skill as well as the internal preparation level. When both of them match, then there will be a natural flow to the presentation. So this is second thing. And then, of course, don't ask me. I'm not good at writing skills. Though I went to some of the writing journal clubs and other things, I didn't actively pursue. But I am reasonably okay with just what is there in my thought to put it into a content. But later on I will read it because I am not that good at writing. I'll read it twice to make it more perfect. I'll revise it after writing it again. After some time again I'll read through it and then revise it to make it perfect. So the writing skill is very much important. That is second thing. And third thing is, so confidence level. Confidence when you go in front of, when you speak, public speaking, the confidence is very much important, right? So now, I tell the students always this one principle to carry with them. That is just focus on present, not what has happened in the past. You might have done some mistakes in the past. For example, interviews. When you are giving an interview, interview is a random event. You don't know who will be sitting in the interview and then what questions they will ask. When they ask the question, you might know the answer, you can answer, and for some of the questions you might not know the answer, and you cannot answer. But if you get stuck, if you get stuck into the result, okay, I could not answer it, what will happen? And you are just thinking back with the question. It has happened with my own colleagues and with my own friends. Once they get stuck for one of the questions they could not answer, they got stuck over there only. Next question interviewer is asking, they are not giving their attention to get what they are asking. They are not able to answer the next question also, even though they know the answer. Like that, their entire interview get completely spoiled. For that, I say that two things. One is focus on the present. Don't think on to the past. And then the third thing is be open to both the results. whether it is success or failure. Just focus on doing your best, not on the result. If you focus on the result, if you will get disturbed and you will not be able to perform. So this is what I always tell my students. It's not something like a soft skill, but it is something like inner engineering or inner skill, which is very much, which has really helped me throughout my career. Because you asked me what has helped me, this has really helped me, so I have to tell this. Apart from that, yeah, you can also have Andy, whatever you want to, you are learning engineering concepts, make a habit of making it automated, do either programming or excelling and other things. Because in civil engineering field, I know, I have spoken to many companies, MNC companies and all. What they are looking for is the graduates who are smart enough to both strong in concept and smart enough to validate faster. This kind of things they are looking forward. So in that sense, another soft skill as a civil engineering also you can have is the programming or automation thing. And yeah, some of the softwares like ETABS or STAD, learning them will save a lot of time. Even to build, design a buildings and then make it happen.
Alright, sir. So one final question.
Yes.
You're part of Shrestha Club in BITS Hyderabad, right?
Yeah.
What values do you think students can learn from the club? How has the experience been so far?
Yeah. So the Shrestha Club, which I'm mentoring here, is I recommend every student to actually take benefit of that. It's not just because I am mentoring. This kind of club I was also a part of in IIT Kharagpur. Because of that, whatever I mentioned, I was not good at communication. I was not good at public speaking. I was not good at the self confidence. These kind of things were built within me through that with the help of those clubs. In addition to that, the strong values and ethics, it teaches us. It has saved my life from unnecessary anxieties. People come across. So, it has helped me. I said I was yes 180-degree turn. I said after I went to Kharagpur. That is because of this kind of Shrestha Club. I was not this kind of person I was before. I was very reckless. जो मन कहता है वैसे करने का, that was my logo. Later on I understood, what is that mind? What is the difference between the body? What is the difference between mind, intelligence, and ego? How they function? So the Shrestha Club basically it gives the complete personality growth, starting from understanding oneself first. See, many of us wander here and there, sometimes keeping this as a goal. Sometimes we change and then take that as a goal. Somebody else comes and suggests that this is not good. You do better. That one. Immediately we change the goal. So this kind of changing many times will happen because we don't know about ourselves first. The Shrestha Club first, what it does is it helps us first to understand ourselves. If you can understand ourselves, then I will know what is my strength, what is my weakness, what I want, what is my desires. Then I will be able to better make informed decisions and then take my career in that direction. So that is one thing. First thing it teaches, and then second thing, it also it not only just teaches just for the students level. What it teaches is for throughout the life. It teaches the values which can be carried throughout the life. See, I myself is a personal example for that because whatever I learned through that club, I have been reaping the benefit now in my professional life as well, because there were various scenarios or situations in my life where I could have easily got swayed away or shaken up, or being put down or demotivated. Such situations comes in everyone's life, but it gave me stability in my life, that not to lose the focus on what, once I know what I want, I will not get easily lose the focus of what. So that gives me, just not worry about the unnecessary things. Otherwise, would have occupied my mind, and then it would have brought me into mental anxiety. But today, I'm very happy, very satisfied of what I'm doing, and I can say that I'm more stable than I was before. I'll give that full credit to the clubs like Shrestha.